Welcome back to Rated Radio with your hosts, Raven Alexander and Shane Wyndham. Shane, catch everyone up on your world.
I'm just getting ready to start recording some new music along with my audiobooks. Might even publish some new journals for the holidays. We have a very important guest with one correction before we do move on here to everybody else. Last week, I said Eminem was in Swagger Like Us. Not the case. It's Lil Wayne. I was confusing that song with the song Forever from Eminem's Relapse Refill album. Anyway, surprise guest. Welcome back, Eric. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good, I reckon. Glad to be back. I must have did something right last time.
Well, thank you for coming on last minute.
Anytime I can get out that nervous hospital, I'm on.
You've pretty much been asking us as soon as you were on last time to come back on, so.
I made some new friends since then. I think my fan base doubled. So
you're up to 4 now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm working on it.
Nice. Raven, what's going on in your world?
Continuing home renovations. My thighs are sore.
Your dad's in the room.
Wow. I didn't need to hear that.
From walking around a pumpkin patch with your ass. Carrying my niece most of the time.
Yeah, you didn't have all that on you.
Yeah, I did.
You could toss her off to somebody else. Don't sit there and lie.
Pumpkins is purdy.
I've
always thought that.
Yeah.
That huckleberry drink show was good, too.
It was. That was good. Anyway, nothing much going on with me. Still unemployed.
Well, you stay on the up and up over there because, boy, do I have some surprises in store for you in the coming weeks. It's going to be fun.
Oh, boy. Can't wait.
Strap in.
Strap on. Anyway, enough about us. Roll the intro.
Everybody's looking at me.
You're looking at everybody else.
So we're going to start with the song list. Mm-hmm. And the list I chose this week was...
Top 10 songs from a precise moment in time.
Yeah, something that takes you back to an exact moment. That's what I'm looking for.
Ooh.
And since my lovely Uncle Eric is a repeat guest, we're not going to do a guest questionnaire this time. He gets to join in our list, and I think he should start us off. What was your first pick, Eric?
It was actually a song by Def Leppard back in 1983. Too Late. Skinny dipping for the first time. This is back when, back in the day when you could pull your car right up to the lake shore, you know. And we had a clique back then, relatives included, so I'm not going to call any names, but they were out there too. But,
you got to see your relatives naked?
No, my relatives got naked with me, and we got to go have some fun.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
He did say
I
that.
did say it. I said
You
it.
can't say that. My relatives got naked with me.
And if they if they know who I'm talking about, if they're listening out there.
We are in Texas. This isn't too strange or unheard of.
All right.
Teenagers run around naked, you know.
According to my sister, we need to quit implying that we have sex with our cousins.
I didn't say I had sex with anybody. That's just jumping off naked into a lake in February, you know, because there's a bunch of girls out there waiting for you.
Your cousins.
No. No.
I went skinny dipping once, jumping off a bridge with somebody I'm not going to name. But there was sex involved.
Oh.
And right after, a boat came pulling up with another friend of mine who was out on the lake. And I guess he'd seen from a distance that we were in the lake. So pretty sure he was watching us fucking.
Nice.
Well, there was none of that going on, but by God, we left and wound up at somebody's house. I mean, it's like I said, there's a clique that hung out together and wound up at somebody's house. I was with some girl, I didn't even know her name. You know, that happened a lot to me in my younger day. I didn't know names.
I need you to take this moment to apologize all the women that came across your path as a youngin'.
I think they enjoyed it just as much as I did, so I don't got to apologize for diddly.
Okay.
I bet if we looked him up, most of them probably didn't know his name either. It was just the way things happened.
Okay.
The thrill of the moment. But anyway, that's my first one. Too Late, Def Leppard. Actually, the whole Pyromania album. Laid there all night petting all night long.
Well, now I feel dirty.
That's rough.
You owned the Def Leppard music video DVD, and we used to watch it as a family.
You
and I feel really gross.
Don't know what I was thinking when that was playing.
She'll be thinking about it whenever we get across Def Leppard
God,
as a
I wish
cover
I was
artist.
15 again.
Raven, what do you got?
I got Shake Your Booty by Casey and the Sunshine Band. I used to go to a daycare. The daycare owner and operator, we called her Nana. This is when my mom was working at the state school. And this was the song. Nana owned a jukebox. And I swear the only thing that she had on that jukebox were songs by Casey and the Sunshine Band.
I'm going to have to stop you right here. Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Say juke box.
Jukebox.
Sorry, it sounds like you're saying jute box.
Jukebox. Okay.
Go ahead.
This is going to be a continuing thing.
You know, that's funny that song reminds you of her, because I remember a bunch of candles go in her house lit up all the time. And that's...
I'm not done. I'm not done. Okay, so what would happen is they would get me up. This is when you were working you weren't at Whitmire yet. I was. You were? Okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that because they're still operating. You worked at Whitmire. Mom worked at the state school. They used to load me up. Kaba worked at state school too, so nobody was at home at this point.
Right.
So y'all used to scoop me up and take me to Nana's house, and it was early in the morning, like still dark outside. I would get there. She had these designated rooms where parents would go drop off their children to sleep until they woke up.
By age.
I always got put in the room with all the religious candles.
The Catholic room.
And they were all lit at all times.
Okay.
So imagine being a 4-year-old kid getting dropped off in this highly religious room at a stranger's house every morning. Yeah, and she used to let us watch Child's Play
Chucky,
and Leprechaun.
Yeah, Chucky, of all people. What?
Yeah, she used to let us watch Child's Play and Leprechaun, but she used to play Shake Your Booty to get us like up and active to like, I guess, get our wiggles out. And it was always that song all the time. So Jukebox.
Yeah.
Shane, what's your first pick?
Country ass.
My first pick is We Built This City by Starship.
All right.
It's a memory from when I was 5-ish years old. We lived on Bernard Street in Denton. My dad threw a party after he got some speakers in the house that, in my memory, they went clear to the ceiling. Like it was those days when you had those tall stacks and shit.
I remember those days.
So it got really late. People were drunk. I was tired, and I wanted the party to be over. But of course, I'm a little kid who doesn't control those things. But what I did was I caught a beer box on fire.
Very nice.
And I threw it into a mass amount of dead leaves. They used to, I don't know if they blew back by the railroad tracks up the backyard or something. I just remember big old pit full of leaves, and I just caught it on fire, and I went to bed. Party over.
Could have burned the house down.
Good song, though.
Yeah, it's a good song. I like that song.
Eric, what do you have next?
All right, like I told you before, back in the day, you could park your car right there on at Lake Dallas, right at the water's edge. Core didn't mess it up yet. So we decided to go camping one weekend, me and a couple of my buddy friends, but there was a girl with us, and I
can't remember her name. Not surprised.
No, and she wasn't shared either. Anyway,
surprised you remember my name on a daily basis.
See, they wouldn't even tell you their names in those days.
We put, hey, it was all good too. But we camped out about 5, maybe 10 feet away from the water's edge, and we partied that night and fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up to Molly Hatchet's Flirting with Disaster blaring, okay? Evidently, somebody through the night had come in and set up camp about 20 feet, 30 feet away from us, behind us, on the other side of the little gravel road. I looked out the window and saw these 2 girls just duking it out. I mean, they were biker chicks. They were duking it out, and I'm like, okay. And this music's playing the whole time. And I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, the jacks they sold with the cars were the single pipe jacks. They're very unstable.
Yep.
Heavier than hell. This guy's running down the gravel road chasing the other guy and hits him square in the back with one of them jacks. And puts him down on the ground, And of course, by then, the police, I don't know if it was Shady Shores, Lake Dallas, or who, but they all show up and swamp the people, and cart a couple off to jail. But the highlight of the whole morning that morning was the girl that got the shit beat out of her literally had to come down in front of our tent in the water and wash herself off before they hauled her off in the cop car. That's definitely a memory that I'll never forget.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, I thought
I
that
like
was
it.
funny. So somebody might remember that one too. So anyway.
If you do, please let us know your name. Whoever you were.
It wouldn't be the girl.
Yeah.
Rayford?
My next pick is Down Under by Men at Work. Have you ever listened to Men at Work with an actual Australian person?
No, but I'm guessing you have.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, she's friends with a couple of Aussies.
We had a foreign exchange student. Some of you might know her as Whoopi Beaver because I've talked about her in the past.
Fucking Whoopi Beaver.
It's my friend Melissa. We used to cruise around in my grandmother's Saturn around the back roads. The family she was staying with was out in the country, owned like a ranch, horse ranch. Anyway, I was taking her home one day. We drove around a lot. I cannot tell you the amount of gas that we have wasted just dicking around. Anyway, so we were driving around in the country and Down Under by Men at Work comes on. We lose our fucking minds. Windows rolled down, screaming at the top of our lungs this song. And it's always been it takes me back to a really, really fun, carefree time in my life where I didn't have shit else to do. I worked part-time. Rest of that time was filled with spending time with my boyfriend and my friends. So good times.
Sounds like good times.
Yeah, it was good. What's your next pick, Shane?
Next for me is Fishing in the Dark by Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. This song makes me think about a camping trip I took with my grandfather and a bunch of the Wyndhams to Black Creek Lake in Decatur when I was young. I don't have a lot of clear memories of the man, but this one continues shaping how I parent.
That's all you got to say about that?
We listened to that song a lot on that trip, but yeah.
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Dad, what's your next pick?
My next pick, not to go off topic, was Sweet Child of Mine for obvious reasons. Somebody came into this world around about that time, and that's, there was a bond there.
Ew, gross.
Day one, yeah, gross.
Okay, we said we were going to do this today. He's talking about me.
I know.
I know.
What are you freaking out about? You were just talking about this a few weeks ago.
I know, but I told him, I was like,
I'll sing it again, by God.
I don't have anything that's going to make anybody emotional today. And then he comes in saying, Sweet Child of Mine by
that song. I
Roses.
can't sing it like I used to, but it's always in my heart.
I will never,
regardless of how old your ass gets.
Yeah, it's
and
getting
how
pretty
shitty
old.
you are to me, because one day you will wipe my ass.
How
I know
shitty
that.
I am to you. Excuse me, sir.
I'm sitting over here feeling like I'm looking in on an emotional moment, and he whips out, one day you're going to wipe my ass.
It'll happen.
It was Mom. Mom asked me when I was 7 years old. She goes, when I'm too old to wipe my butt, who's going to wipe my butt? Like, to me, my brother, my
you
sister.
You just made your mom sound really country.
Stop. Yeah, stop that shit, because you know exactly what your mother would say. And butt is not the word that would come out of her mouth.
Well, we were kids at the time. I think she said butt. She didn't say ass.
No, we hid nothing.
She
from
did
you.
not
well,
say.
Not
Yeah,
ever.
yeah, exactly. She said butt at the
bit.
time. Anyway, Logan was like, no, that's gross. And Alyssa's like, ew. But me, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And still to this day,
Rayburn will take care of us when we get old.
Apparently made that agreement in blood, because there's no getting out of it now.
It's how she puts herself to sleep every night, is
One day I'm going to wipe
thinking
my
fondly
parents'
about
ass.
how, she's going to wipe some ass in her older days.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it, Dad.
washing my skid drawers and everything. I can't wait. Anyway, what's your next one?
My next one is Magic Man by Heart. My mother had a moment when she saw my father for the first time walking across the parking lot of their high school. She had a moment where she knew she had to have some. This was my moment.
She needed to know his name.
She did. She ended up asking somebody.
Seriously, she did ask me if I was a magic man when we first met.
Nice.
Oh, God. All right, I don't need to know that. I need to... What was the sweater? It was like a red, white, and blue sweater.
It was the
were wearing?
ugliest thing you've ever seen. Yeah.
Apparently, you got her.
Looked like Frosty the Snowman in that thing. It's ugly. God, it was ugly.
I don't know if you put this on your mix. I'm gonna say my personal one because I had a moment just like Mom when I saw not Blue for the first time because I saw him when I was in second grade. But when he came back and he had gone through puberty, I had my moment that I saw him. But Mom's moment always was Watch Her Strut by Bob Seger.
Yes.
Mine was Magic Man by Heart. Blue was coming from football practice. He was shirtless, jeans hanging right off his hips, had his shirt thrown over his shoulder. He was jumping in the back of his classic truck. I forget what year it was.
And that's when you knew.
That's when I knew. I was like, he gonna be mine. And he was. And he is. Anyway, Shane, what's your next pick?
Well...
Lot to take.
Don't know how to follow that one. Yeah, I'm gonna process that for a while. Next pick for me is Whoop. There it is. My tag team.
Back again.
I can't hear this song and not think about rapping it on the bus with Billy. That's Fro. For those who don't know, I skipped high school altogether. So that moment you loved so much, that little free will, I had 4 years of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, aren't you special?
I am. I love life. Anyway, I lost touch with just about everyone I'd grown up with. And after a solid 5 years of just no contact, Billy showed up in my yard one day. Made it feel like not a single day had gone by. Taught me a lot about the kind of friend I wanted to be, and I remain really appreciative to have the guy in my life.
Yeah, Fro. Fro's the only one that I remember you ever hanging out with. Like, he's the only one that's still in my memory.
Yeah.
Aside from Corey, but
I wasn't allowed
family.
to bring too many of the others around you. You were,
yeah.
Y'all talking around me, but I will tell you one thing about the friends and losing touch. Yeah, that's what happens as you age. It just, I don't know why, but that's just the way it is.
People get busy.
Hang on to them if you got them.
Speaking of, you just lost a friend this past week and a half.
I lose friends every day. What are you talking about?
Dad.
Oh, you talking about your mama's friend.
Y'all were both friends with him.
Yeah, I was friends with him too. We lost a friend of ours down the Austin
use
way.
his nickname and say why that was his nickname.
They call him Moose. You know, down to earth guy, one of them old hippies. You know, kind of back in the day, and sees things. You know, but he's a real
what
grounded
things?
guy. Spiders. He had this thing with spiders, boy. The spiders on the walls.
Wasn't it lizards too? And
lizards and whatever else. Mm-hmm. But he, the cancer, big C took him. And up until his dying day, he was, talk like nothing ever happened. So nothing was wrong with him.
I'm just glad that he got to reconnect with Mom before he passed. Because he had a lot of, they reminisced a lot and it sort of kind of boosted his spirits near the end. So,
yeah. Old Moose. Yep.
What's your next pick, Dad?
My next pick has to do with my father. Y'all's grandfather.
Mm-hmm. Shane's named after him.
Yes, sir. Think I'll just stay here and drink by Merle Haggard. Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about my father. My father, for whatever reason, and we clicked. There's not a lot of times I was not with him. I remember going to Oklahoma, riding around, and I don't know if this man just wanted to drive all the way around Texoma, just looking for fishing sites and shit. Mm-hmm. But we drove around in Oklahoma a lot, saw a lot of twisters coming down out of the sky.
Is that why you go storm chasing?
Possibly. But no, I clearly remember this song playing one day. He had an orange long bed Chevy truck, and he had one of them concrete little, I don't know, it's a concrete smoother machine. It smooths the slabs.
Right.
Heavier than hell because it fell on my foot one day. But anyway, we're driving down 380 by the lake bottoms, and Michael's with us at the time.
And that's your brother.
Yes, my brother Michael was with us at the time. And Popos decided to get behind us and pull us over. Well, my dad had a beer between his legs,
Right.
And he was already had too many to drink. So, but back in the day, they just cart you in, let you sleep 3 hours and send you home.
Yeah.
So, but that song was playing. They pulled him over. He pulled over, got out of the truck. They put him in, of course, their car, and the officer gets in the truck beside me, and Michael is bawling. He don't know what to think, There's police in the car with us, don't know where we're going. I knew where we were going. So, we went to the county and
You just had to sit there while he slept it off?
no, actually somebody came and got us, and that somebody was y'all's aunt, and she was not a happy camper either when she picked us up.
Oh, our aunt. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. She got the call, and she came and got us, and of course, he had to stay in there his 3 hours, but they were probably the two closest out of all of the siblings then.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what that song reminds me of, and we spent a lot of time together, hunting trips and what have you. So I think I'll just stay here and drink.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a great song.
Yeah. He's. I've heard my fair share of that song. His list is all making sense to me right now because he plays this stuff a lot.
Good.
So anyway, my next pick is American Pie by Don McLean. Speaking of my Australian friend Melissa, this is the song that was playing on the radio as we left the airport for her to go back to Australia. And I remember riding in the back seat with her host family and another friend, and we all were crying because she had made a very big impact on our lives for such a short period of time. So that's all I have to say.
Alrighty.
What's your next pick?
Who's Don McLean?
I said McLean. Good.
I don't know. I always said McLean. I'm just messing with you, Raven. Seriously.
It's McLean. That's how everybody knows it.
Uh-huh.
I'll just ruin your good time.
I came in on being so positive about this morning.
My next pick is Lean on Me by Bill Withers. Something about my elementary school experience seems to be different from other people I've met as an adult. The staff did their best to make us feel like part of a community. They worked hard to keep us seeing our similarities instead of our differences, possibilities instead of limitations. If memory serves, after our little 6th grade graduation ceremony, most of us wound up back in the music room and our music teacher played this song. I remember knowing this would be the last time I was close to some of those kids I'd spent the past 6 years with because the middle schools split our district. Life goes on, but this moment in time was so stupefyingly crucial to my ability to cope with change that nearly 25 years later, I chose the date as the starting point of my novel.
Really?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Bobby Dog.
What's for you next, Derek?
It's another story.
What's for you next?
Yeah, I'm sitting over here thinking we need to...
You folks probably ain't never heard of these fellers. They're called the Molly Maguires. They're actually a tribute band. Back in the 80s, our high school was, eat up with them. They sounded so much like Led Zeppelin, it wasn't even funny. Okay, they were having a 100 keg party. They were in Munster.
Can I stop you for a second?
Sure.
A 100 keg party?
100 kegs of beer. They had 18-wheeler trailers with kegs sticking out the side and taps to where you just help yourself.
No wonder your friends are dying.
I feel like my whole life is just
a
lie now.
Just wait. Hey, it gets better.
All right.
Your mother was with me. Okay. We were in this guy's van. I can't remember his name. Dwayne, I think, something or other. There were about 7 or 8 of us, and they were all tore up. We got up to this concert, and it was a concert too, boy. It was a party. Well, these jackasses decided to start popping fireworks over at the Harleys,
right?
And get these gangs, these gang members all pissed off at us. So it ended our night short. We had to get out of there, and we're coming back. Of course, everybody's inebriated though.
100 kegs, I would hope so.
I'm driving. She's up front with me, and everybody else is in the back of the van playing grab ass. There's no seats. They're just,
floating around back there.
Yeah, well, and I'm trying to keep them under control because I'm the only sober one, really, me and your mom. And they got to use bathrooms, so we pull over on 35 between Gainesville and Denton, pull off on the shoulder so they can step out and piss. Well, somebody gets some more bottle rockets and starts shooting them out there on 35 and catches the median on fire.
Nice.
So the median of the highway's burning. We're over there sitting there, people's peckers hanging out, we're trying to get them back in the van. Got them in the van. Got back to town is when we lived out in Vacation Village, and I remember we pulled that van up in my driveway, and she and I went inside and went to bed and left that van running. And I told the driver of that van, hey, we're at my house, we're going to bed. Here's your car, and that thing sat there and ran for another 2 hours. they were all passed out by the time we got there. So, yeah, somebody finally got in the thing and left. But anyway, Molly Maguire's a Zeppelin tribute band. Excellent. So if any of you Molly Maguire guys are out there, there's your plug right there. I don't know what you are doing now.
What do you think about what's the new group? Greta Van Fleet. You heard any of that?
Yes, I have, and I think
they sound like Led Zeppelin to me.
That's why I asked. They do, and those guys are really talented. Not just the singer. I mean, the singer's got some pipes.
Yeah.
But the brothers as well they're musically talented. I think a lot about them, although you haven't heard much from them here lately.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what they do in the future.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Greta Van Fleet.
Mm-hmm. My last pick for this half of this list is Can't Let Go by Anthony Hamilton. This was my song of choice, riding on many long bus rides, listening to music on my Zune, to volleyball games early in the morning on Saturdays. This was always my song.
Zune.
I literally have it.
You better tell the truth. That damn Sony Walkman. We couldn't afford
I
damn
literally
Zune.
have it behind me in this drawer.
If you say so, I don't.
Blue bought it for me. It was my red Zune. It was about this big.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't buy a shit for me.
I damn sure didn't.
Oh, that ain't fair.
Well, he wants to talk a lot of shit.
I'd rather sing to you.
Yeah, you did plenty of that
buy
too.
You nothing.
So, Can't Let Go by Anthony Hamilton is my last song for this half.
I was real confused at first because you said you took long bus rides, and I know for a fact your school isn't even a quarter mile from where you lived. So.
Well, yes.
Yeah, to other schools, I'm guessing, yeah.
There you go. Give it a little time, you'll understand it more.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass.
What's your next pick?
All right, last for me on this half is Smoke by Ben Folds 5. I got really down one night in my late teens, tried destroying a bunch of my poetry by balling the pages around the tip of a tree limb, torching it. I sat in the yard listening to this song and watching my work burn away. Now, decades later, I realized most of it still existed. Some of it was in computer files I finally figured out how to decrypt. There were copies I'd given to friends, etc. So almost everything that I think I lost, I actually still had. I didn't know that for decades. Anyway, most of that work is what you'll find in my book, The First Phoenix. And I still think about that moment a lot because it's a lesson I never want to relearn. Don't destroy what you build. It'll haunt you.
Don't burn no bridges.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to our first artist?
I think so.
You want to?
I do.
Okay. Dad, who is our first artist that we're going to be covering?
I guess it's a chick called Ingrid Michaelson as her name.
Can you say it again for the people in the back?
Ingrid Michaelson.
Thank you.
For you people up there in them cheap seats, that's who it is.
All right. The first album that we covered by Ingrid Michaelson is Girls and Boys from 2006. This was my runner-up.
This was at the bottom for me.
This was right in the middle.
I gave it 5 5s.
1 5.
1 5. I don't know what you were smoking.
You'll find out. You will find out in a minute.
Let's hear it.
My top track was Masochist.
Mine was Glass.
Die Alone.
And my bottom track was December Baby.
Same.
Far Away.
So before we move to the next album, I want to clarify. I gave a lot of this 4s.
Mm-hmm.
And the 1 5 should not be indicative of something like our SIA week. Even this starting point was much better placed than most of the SIA that we listened to for me.
Let's move on to our next album, which was Human Again from 2012. This was second to last for me.
This was in the middle.
This was at the bottom.
I gave it 3 5s.
6 5s.
0.
My top track was I'm Through.
End of the World.
Fire.
And my bottom track was Palm of Your Hand.
Keep Warm.
Black and Blue.
Next album that we covered was Lights Out from 2014. This was my bottom album.
This was my top album.
My next to the bottom.
I gave it 4 5s.
10 5s.
0.
My top track was Wonderful Unknown.
Everyone is gonna love me now.
Home.
And my bottom track was Handsome Hands.
Same.
Wonderful Unknown.
Ouch.
Ugh,
All right.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's such a great title too.
Yeah.
You didn't like it either?
I did.
Okay.
I don't think I gave that one a 5.
Okay. That's fine. I do not feel, I
This-
feel attacked about a lot of things, but this is not one of them.
Okay.
So.
These two albums, by the way, it was almost all 4s and 5s.
Okay.
So the first one was a little rougher for me, but it's gotten better.
Yes, and y'all have to understand her first album, or the first album picked, was 2006. This is a current singer.
Are you making an ageist comment?
I am. That's
Okay.
exactly where I'm going with it.
Okay.
So bear with my numbers.
She
So.
was completely unknown to you, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I've never heard of her before. So there were, she's kind of in the middle for me. There were a few that I,
Which
that I thought were good tracks, but
you listening to it this past week, Mom had told me that she found out she's actually a fan of Ingrid Michaelson.
yes,
She actually really enjoyed her music while you were covering it.
yes,
So that's a win.
Sitting out in the hot tub with me listening to it. She's
That's
forced.
exactly what I want to
Forced
listen
it
to
on
Ingrid
her.
Michaelson
Yeah.
in a hot tub.
Yep.
All right, moving on to our next album. It Doesn't Have to Make Sense from 2016. This was my middle album.
This was next to last for me.
Number 2,
I gave it 2 5s.
7 5s.
0 5s.
Top track.
I'm just a dog, man. When it comes
Yeah,
to
it's
fives.
all right.
Yes.
Top track, I Remember Her.
Whole lot of heart, but I Remember Her was right up there.
Light me up.
And my bottom track was Celebrate.
Same.
Celebrate.
Yep.
Wow.
Celebrate ain't where it's at,
There you
apparently.
So, and I said this album was next to last for me, but this one had fewer tracks than the majority of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason. It's because I would have paid more money for the other albums overall. But this was solid for me. It was really solid.
The next album that we covered was Stranger Songs from 2019. This was my top album.
This was my runner-up just because of the number of tracks.
And this was my top album.
I gave it 6 5s.
Perfect rating.
God dang it. I don't have my phone.
And I gave it 1.
It wasn't your top, and you gave it a perfect rating?
I rank based on purchase value. So
Yeah, that's right.
it had 11 5s and Lights Out had 10, but I would have paid $11.75 because Lights Out has 14 tracks, whereas Stranger only had 11. It could only be $11 total that I would pay for it. So
All right.
1 5. That says a lot. My number 1, and it only has 1 5, but that's a lot of 4s. So,
My top track was Freak Show.
Best friend.
Freak Show.
I have been listening to that song on repeat. I love that song.
And I thought that you would like that
I
song.
love
when I
that
heard
song.
it, I thought, I bet Rayburn's digging this one.
Oh,
right here.
I showed it to Alyssa when she came over this past week, pick up mail. But yeah, I showed it to her, and I showed her You and I first, and then I showed her Freak Show, and she was like, "Hey, now hold up," because she was not digging on the first album's sound at all. So anyway,
First song on the album, by the way.
yes,
Yes.
Freak Show.
yes.
Yep.
My bottom track from Stranger Songs was Missing You.
Hate You.
Mother.
Missing You, Hate You, Mother.
And my bottom track still got a 5. It was just the weakest of my 5s.
Right.
Nice.
This is a fucking fantastic CD.
Yes. Agreed. I thoroughly enjoyed that album.
I'm not knocking her at all. It was different for me. I kind of, I've heard this style of music before. I enjoy it, but I just never heard of her before.
Yeah.
So
Are we ready to move on to the questionnaire that Dad did not finish?
I am.
Okay.
You call him out like that.
Well, people are going
Sorry,
to be people are
dog.
going to be able to tell when it's just
that's
you
just
and
like
me
calling
going
me
back and forth.
Darth Vader when I'm just breathing.
Our guests are under no obligation to even listen to the majority of music that's said in front of them, much
Yeah.
less answer these questions.
I'm just giving you shit because you're my dad.
Luke,
And
I
apparently-
am your father.
And apparently I treat you like shit anyway, so
What was your weirdest track, Rayburn?
Missing You.
Eric?
I didn't have a weirdest track for her. It just kind of, she's the one I had problems with. I couldn't, I don't know why, but I just couldn't figure out where this track because it's all new to me.
Okay.
Some stood out, but most were just kind of, storytelling kind of.
Yeah, nothing.
I think they're life events. That's what it sounded like to me listening to, because I actually listened to most of these songs all the way through.
Really?
Yes. And she's telling a lot of stories. So anyway.
What about you, Shane? What's your weirdest?
I'm going to agree with your dad that there's not something there that really stands out as super weird. But the one I went with is The Way I Am.
Okay.
Because that bass line, it just made me think of Under the Boardwalk by the Drifters.
Okay.
To no end.
What
Best
about
title?
Wonderful Unknown.
I would probably have to say Freak Show.
Mine was Warpath.
What's your worst title?
Stick. Oh.
Stick?
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you have called it?
I didn't know what that song was going to be about, and it just seemed like,
Stick.
Of all the things in the world, Stick. I would have called it, Did Any of Me Stick? That'd give some indication of what you're actually getting out of the song.
For the first time, I like the original title better. Stick.
Well, you go ahead with your bad stuff. It's unique, that's for sure.
I don't have a worst title.
My worst title was Missing You. What I would have used instead is Another Torn Heartbeat. Little wordy, but still would mean the same thing.
Torn Heartbeat.
Yeah, I like that better than the original. I'll agree.
Thank you. What would you say her strongest element is?
Production values. If I had to give a runner-up thing, which I'm not supposed to do because it's just one strongest element, but I felt like her lyricism is probably going to be relatable to a lot of people. Like you said, she tells stories and it does feel inspired by real life events.
Yeah, and that's what it sounds like to me. That's what I get is it's real life situations that she's been through.
She's real.
Yeah.
Which you might not have known this. How she got her start was she was making music and posting it online. And then someone approached her from like a TV network.
Well, no, I didn't know that.
And they wanted to start using her music in like shows like Grey's Anatomy, things like that. So really she was a TV show music artist, and then that's how she blew up, got her start.
Some of her stuff could be some Disney, type music, is what I got out of it.
Okay.
And to highlight the production values thing, my weirdest track, The Way I Am, the one that sounded like Under the Boardwalk to me, it's commonly used by Bose to promote their sound products because the lows and the mids are so...
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And they're so much different than the highs of her voice and the quality of her voice. But really... I think it's the spacing and what's being done, the instrumentation, production values.
I said her vocals, lyrics, piano, and violin instrumentals, especially in those earlier albums. That was, I think I wrote that before I had gotten to the Stranger Songs album.
I think her voice and a piano go hand in hand to me. Whenever they start a song with a piano intro and then she comes in, it's just that's just me though.
What would you say her weakest element is?
Her instrumental melodies.
All right.
I don't want anyone to think that I'm tearing this artist down or tearing this artist apart because
I gave her a perfect rating. I don't think anybody's
I did
gonna
towards
think
the
that.
end, but that was a very strange experience because when this started, I only gave it 1.5 to that first album among those 12 tracks.
Shows her progression.
You can definitely hear the progression.
She's growing, and the thing about that last album is she worked with other songwriters on that album who'd done other things. But for the most part, something about it was just too simple. And it was never, it's okay to have a simple melody. Plenty of artists have really simple melodies that they use throughout, and we all love it. But it's highlighted in the mix at like an equal level to her voice. And that first album sticks out to me as that being the case. But
well, I said her weakest element was some slower songs are too simple. Okay. So I completely understood. There's a reason that her first album fell as the runner-up for me, and it's completely nostalgic reasons. I'm cool with admitting that it's not a bad album, but I was listening to this album at a specific time in my life. If you want to really enjoy Ingrid Michaelson's stuff, listen to her Stranger Songs album, and if you want, go back and listen to the older stuff because you're going to see how much she progressed throughout her discography.
Yeah, and odds are you might like it a lot more than I did. If you think about the time that album came out, it's Norah Jones is really big. It's indie music. Female songwriters are really hitting the stage and at the forefront.
When it's just like them and their vocals and like a simple guitar or a piano. And yeah.
Yep.
So, Dad, did you have a weakest element?
I did not.
All right. Sounds like?
This artist sounds like singer-songwriter pop to me.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It feels really simple in places, and it's strange because I do like so much of this music more than I thought I was going to, and the more I go back and listen to it, the better it sounds to me. But every now and then, if I'm in a mood for complexity, this is not going to land. What do you think it sounds like?
Anna Nalick, she sings 2 a.m.
Breathe.
Yeah, and Breathe. Vanessa Carlton, Lisa Loeb, and Jewel.
Yeah. I was initially going to list artists here, but the sound changes from album to album. And I think it's just her progression as she's growing as a songwriter. But you get a lot of different stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Anything from you, Dad?
No.
No, ma'am. No, sir.
No, sir.
You call me sir.
I called you, ma'am. You just keep going.
When would you listen, or how does the music make you feel?
I would listen when life's feeling a little too complex. It sounds so bad. It sounds like...
This music is for simpletons.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is when I think about those early albums, the more complex the instrumentation was, the less I liked the song. And I don't know what that's about. Anyway.
I said...
And how the music makes me feel...
Okay. I'm sorry. My bad.
It's okay. Bored at worst, like I'm floating at best.
Okay. I said like I'm sitting on a swing on a fall day.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got.
I can listen to it anytime. It relaxes me. It's a relaxing type of music. This is coming from a metalhead, so, you know.
I would not put you in that box.
Anyway.
But if you want to put yourself there, that's fine.
Me. I put myself where I need to be.
All right.
Relaxed, which is how I am right now.
With assistance?
Oh, yeah. Every day.
When was your first or best experience with this artist?
My first was being shown a YouTube video for her song Always You. It's not on Spotify, and her debut album's not on Spotify either. But yeah, I'll put it on YouTube mentions. It's a good song. It is in the vein of slower, earlier, but very emotional. It'll dig its hooks into you, and I think that's what's happening with a lot of her music. You? I
was in college when I was listening to this type of music. Go figure. And there were a lot of people playing this on guitar, an acoustic guitar around me, and it was You and I. And that was one of the, I think we were practicing for a fundraiser to raise money. And I had a friend who was playing it on guitar, and I was singing You and I. So I don't think we raised any money.
Wow.
Anyway.
Well, that's not a reflection of her music, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it speaks more about me.
Just a little bit of bonus information for listeners. She didn't make shit.
No, I didn't make anything. I'm not a professional. Well, anything from you, Dad?
This is my first time listening to her.
Okay.
So I really, it was eye-opening.
Okay.
At best.
Okay. Very nice. Who would you want them to collaborate with? And what song would you like them to cover?
I said Jason Mraz because I feel like every female singer-songwriter that's big name at this point is doing it. So Jason Mraz. A song I really wouldn't mind hearing her cover is Stay by Lisa Loeb. And the reasoning I wrote is I think it would be something that would help to further her melodic complexity. Okay. What's interesting about that is her vocal complexity is there. It's present. She goes all over the map. She takes you on the roller coaster ride. So I don't know if maybe the melodies are kept simple on purpose, but anyway. You?
I would want her to collaborate with Post Malone or The Weeknd. And what I use is Freak Show to me is a prime example of what The Weeknd and Post Malone could contribute to that song. But I would want them to cover Groupie Love by A$AP Rocky and Lana Del Rey because I think that they could do it better. There you go.
I will hard disagree with that because I like the Lana version a lot, but
I was disappointed with the A$AP Rocky collaboration. I liked the other one. Oh no, you liked Groupie Love. I hated Summer Bummer, but I still didn't like Groupie Love either. But I went back and listened to those 2 songs, and I thought Groupie Love would be a better fit.
okay.
Dad, anything from you?
Well, since I'm over here winging it,
Okay.
flying by the seat of my pants, I wouldn't mind hearing her do some Evanescence or a little Dolores O'Riordan.
Oh,
Yeah.
I will jump on that. The second one.
I wouldn't even mind the first.
Either one, just for the difference, to see how it would sound. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's kind of what she reminds me of, is that type of. Yes.
And she could handle it too, vocally. So she's got the strength and the range.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
What makes Ingrid Michaelson seem unique?
Her themed work. She did some music for The Notebook, like music that's specifically themed for The Notebook. I think it was a stage play version that she did. And the other thing being the Stranger Songs album, which we haven't discussed at all yet, but that album is entirely inspired by Stranger Things.
That's so good.
Really?
From the Netflix show.
How can you not tell? Did you see the cover art?
I did not.
She's upside down up against some crazy wallpaper, and literally in the Stranger Things logo, it says Ingrid Michaelson. You watch Stranger Things.
Wow. Yes, before it was popular.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
it was you didn't. It was
I'm the
popular.
one that turned you on to
You're
it.
such a liar. You're such a liar.
Okay, here we go.
And I don't think she was paid to do this. I think it's just something that she likes to do, to take something that she really enjoys and write music about. And I can appreciate that. I was actually thinking about it last night because I know the majority of the songs on the Stranger Songs album, they're character studies. Like Hey Kid would be an obvious study on one character. And then you've got Mother. It's going to be a study on another character. But even the number of songs, there are 11 songs on the album.
Oh my God,
11.
I did not
even.
even.
You see what I'm getting
I
at?
didn't even think
ironic.
that. Wow.
Like, she's putting a lot into it, and I really think it does make her seem unique, and she's very good at that sort of material. So, you?
I said her simplicity in vocals and sound, but that's not true for the Stranger Songs album.
No. Another thing about that album, again, she worked with other songwriters on almost everything. The reason Hate You fell at the bottom, it was still a 5, but she wrote that one by herself, and you can kind of hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes her songs, they'll have 2 verses before they get to the actual chorus, or she's got a pre-chorus it's just a little too long. I just wanted it to get there faster, and Stranger Songs really dialed in exactly what she needed to be doing. So I love this album. If you can't tell,
it was my top. I really, really enjoyed it too. I was super surprised when I got to it. Anything from you, Dad?
No, not really unique. She just her range. She's definitely different.
Can I just say this is so much fun?
Okay, I'm feeling you over there.
Are you not having fun, Raven?
No, it's just he just feels stressed.
I don't feel stressed.
Okay, just making sure. How could this artist be most successful in the future?
Keep working with other songwriters.
I said expand on the sounds of Stranger Songs. I think it's a great place to go.
Other songwriters help.
Yeah.
That last album. Yeah.
Not saying that she's not a good songwriter within herself. I just think that having that other influence helps expand her sound, especially. That's just me.
Maybe she needs to marry another musician and be a duet, kind of like.
I'm gonna say no.
Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash.
Yeah, that worked out great for them. Let's not forget all that drama in the beginning of their relationship.
They stuck it out.
Okay. Who would you recommend this artist to and why?
Fans of Stranger Things. I bet most of them don't even know this exists. I didn't know this existed.
I didn't either. I didn't know she was still making music.
I didn't
honestly.
either. I didn't know. I didn't have a clue about Stranger Things. I would recommend it to my youngest daughter because this is right up her alley. And that's kind of what I was thinking when I was listening to it.
It's right up her alley.
You don't think so?
Right up her alley.
Alley, Alyssa joke.
Oh. Flew right over my head. Okay. Yeah, right up her alley.
You helped name her.
Okay, right up her alley.
I said,
Frog.
I said any college kid looking to find themselves.
Any optional discussion topics from either of you?
I don't have any.
Okay.
Take it away.
I don't have a whole lot. I wanted to make mention that she wrote or had a hand in all of the material that we listened to that can't be said for the other artists we're going to be covering today. Her debut album, Slow the Rain, is not on Spotify. You can probably hear it on YouTube. I don't know. I haven't gone to look. And the last thing I wanted to mention is the Time Machine video is full of actor cameos. So if you're into that sort of thing, yeah, lots of comedians from shows like The Office or Scrubs.
You got me.
Yeah, I can tell just when I mentioned it, you've yet to see this video because this is something you would geek on endlessly. So go watch the Time Machine video.
Got it. On it. We ready to move on to our break?
I believe so.
Okay.
Song recommendation.
My song recommendation for this week is Winnebago by Griffin. That's Gryfin. Sorry, let's try that again.
Did you spell it wrong?
I did. Oh, God, okay. I don't want to do this anymore. My song recommendation is Winnebago by Griffin. That's Gryffin. This song, Blue introduced me to this song a while back. It was actually before summer hit, and it's still one of those songs that sticks in your head like an earworm. So go take a listen. Listen it.
Eric, you got a song recommendation this week?
Actually, no, and only because I'm an old dusty fart, and anything that I'm going to throw out there is going to be old and classic, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
Everybody's probably heard it anyway, so
you would be surprised.
I'm really not hip to the.
You literally,
There's a lot of stuff comes out of y'all's mouth, and I'm like, I ain't never heard of them before.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the idea here, and I think what I worry about is that a lot of listeners will know exactly what we're saying, whereas if it's older stuff, I don't think that they will.
Just because it's cool. We're old. Just because it's new to us doesn't mean it's new to other people.
Well, I'm still glad y'all got one hippie on the show. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep y'all grounded.
I appreciate it.
Do you have any song recommendations?
I do. My song recommendation for the week is Molly by Lil Dicky. This is a rap song with a lot of heart, and I think most folks missed out on it.
Oh, yeah.
And this is another one of those Chris Stapleton Tennessee whiskey songs.
Yep.
I knew it a long time before you showed up at my house trying to show me Lil Dicky videos that I didn't care about and his comedy stuff. I like Molly.
Who is featured on that song, Shane?
Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco.
You like that feed?
I love Brendan Urie.
And his voice in the chorus is beautiful.
Yes. But I also really, really love Lil Dicky, especially in Molly. I think that's my favorite song by him.
Yeah.
You don't get
much rap that's actually got a lot of romanticism behind it. This is there. If you like that sort of thing, go give it a listen.
Yes.
Listen it.
Absolutely. And don't miss the boat. Because I did. Don't be me.
I tried, folks. I tried to show her the boat, and she just ignores my boats.
I just waved at it. I Forrest Gumped it.
And I feel like I'm watching Pong over here.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
You got any plugs this week, man?
I do. My plug for the week is a board game called Christmasopoly. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's a Christmas version of Monopoly, but it's not made by the people who make Monopoly. And that means it's slightly different. Most of the games, they go faster, and the cards that you draw, they're quite a bit more interesting, more fun. And if you just don't want a game that's going to go as long as that, they have a 1-hour version that you can play.
Speed round.
Perfect for the holidays. It is cheap. It's made from cheap materials, but it's a really great thing to play around the holidays. Christmasopoly.
My plug for the week. Want to meet one half of the Rated Radio team? Make sure and visit our booth on Halloween night at Lavish's Trunk or Treat Meet and Greet in Kennedale.
Don't.
We will be giving out plenty of tricks and treats. Stop by and visit us and let us know what makes your melody unforgettable. The event starts at 4 p.m. And remember, if you're going to trick or treat, keep it 6 feet.
Whoa.
She's very proud of herself right now. Do you
cool.
see this?
That is cool now. She get a look at her.
Thank you.
Pat yourself on the back.
I will.
Okay. All right.
All right.
It's like my 2-year-old who just finished putting his alphabet puzzle together.
You know what? That takes some fucking skill. I've seen that happen.
So impressed with himself.
I would be impressed too. First of all, he's really good at it. Pat him on the back. He needs encouragement.
He's being encouraged.
Okay.
I encourage him. He's 2 years old.
Well,
You're getting close to 30.
I still surprise myself. You know what? Don't take my little joys.
When is this little shindig
It's on Halloween night. It's this Saturday.
This Saturday, okay.
I'll be there with bells on.
Because it's supposed to be colder than the well digger's ass the first part of this week.
Mm-hmm. I'm still going to be there regardless. So if you want to meet me,
high water.
Your favorite half of the Rated Radio podcast.
Yeah, nobody likes me.
Stop by.
You know, the Dusty Fart could make a cameo, but I don't know. You're going to have to do something to get me up here.
I think you might be, because I think other people under your roof might be coming.
Oh,
Look
God
it up.
Almighty. Look at here. Y'all want to come see the old man? Come on out.
Wear your Rated Radio shirt.
We'll party.
This is for children.
I can party with children.
Okay. That is it for me. We want to move on to the next half?
Yes, please.
All right. It's Reba, y'all. Miss Reba McEntire is our next artist that we covered this week. Are we ready?
We are.
All right. Shane, why don't you let the people know what were the albums that we covered this week, since you so lovingly got to pick them for us?
Well, does that really matter? All you really need to know is that each one of them had 10 tracks on it. I was
True.
Was given the third degree before we started here today. 10-track albums.
Not me. It was refreshing to have 10-track albums.
I said it. By God.
We came straight off of the Clash's Sandinista album and then the Beatles' White Album. I was ready for some shorter albums.
I didn't pick these based on the number of tracks. I was very familiar. We joke about me being a giant Reba fan. I know the hits, and she has a lot of hits, so it's easy to say you're a Reba fan.
Yeah.
The only album I really knew extremely well was For My Broken Heart. Otherwise, I picked albums that had at least 2 songs that I really loved on them.
Okay.
Sticking to around the same era. Anyway, first album we covered was Whoever's in New England from 1986. This was my bottom pick.
This was my second to the top.
This fell in the middle for me.
I gave it 7 5s.
I gave it 2 5s.
I also gave it 2 5s.
My top track was I'll Believe It When I Feel It.
Whoever's in New England.
And mine was You Can Take the Wings Off Me.
Bottom track was Can't Stop Now.
I've seen better days.
I've seen better days.
Yeah, not a lot to say. The next album that we covered was Reba from 1988. This was next to last for me.
This was last for me.
This was my top album.
Okay.
Think
the cover just made her feel something.
Yeah, exactly.
Some kind of
No!
way. I gave this album 8 5s.
I got no 5s on this album. A lot of 4s, no 5s.
I only gave it 3 5s.
Rayburn's putting something together in her head over there.
I gave a lot of 4s and 3s.
So this was a 3-way tie for my top track.
Okay.
I could not decide between You're the One I Dream About, I Know How He Feels, and Every Time You Touch Her, which I Know How He Feels has long been one of my favorite Reba songs. So to have a tie, that was something. What was your top track, Eric?
Silly Me. That was my top.
Sunday Kind of Love, which is an Etta James cover.
Yes, it is.
And I didn't know that until I started doing my research.
You didn't know that song?
I didn't. I knew other Etta James songs, but I didn't know that one.
Wake up.
Did you just say wake up?
At last. Wake up at last. My bottom track was Respect.
See, and that was close. Mine was Wish I Was Only Lonely.
Mine was Respect, which is
Respect, yeah.
Aretha Franklin cover.
Yes.
No. Well, yeah, she covered the Aretha Franklin version. That's an Otis Redding song.
Respect?
Yeah. It was written by Otis Redding.
What? I feel like I know nothing. I love Otis Redding. I didn't
See,
know that.
This difference in age between us is a learning experience, and I hope you enjoy the ride. Yeah, something about that cover. It wasn't bad. It's not.
It's not the
It's
same.
not the original.
No,
it's not.
no.
It's
It's not
the other ones.
It should that should be an R&B song to me, and it's not with her singing it.
And you can tell it's probably something that she sat at home and sang, and she sounds great. It's just when you put the country instrumentation,
Right.
it didn't work for me.
What did you think about Sunday Kind of Love then?
I did like that one.
And obviously, I enjoyed it. I think she did a pretty good job when it came to it.
Yeah.
Daddy,
You didn't know the original, so I think.
I didn't, but I went back and I listened to it, and it is good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's all good.
You ask your dad something?
No, I don't care what he thinks.
She don't
I don't care what he
care.
thinks.
I'm
Next
just gonna
album.
make fun of her.
Next album was Rumor Has It from 1990. This was my runner-up.
Next to the bottom.
Second to last for me too.
Perfect rating.
Another one.
Wow,
2 5s.
that never happens.
No.
2 5s.
Yeah, that would probably never happen for me. I'm hardcore over here. I'm old.
You've never had a perfect rating.
We
for...
talked about it in the last episode.
It's just the way I average. It's the way I.
We're not gonna. We're not gonna shame you. You shouldn't even feel bad about
Better
it.
not. I'll ground you.
You've never grounded me. Maybe that's my problem.
Maybe.
My top track was You Lie.
Top track. You lie.
Fancy.
Fancy, of course it is.
You know
Bottom
why
track.
Fancy was not for me? It's because that song got a ton of radio play.
Yeah.
A ton.
Yeah, wasn't even born yet when this album came
Yeah.
out. So
Yes.
sorry about your
You
lives.
missed that part.
Yeah.
Bottom track was Waiting for the Deal to Go Down.
This picture.
Rumor has it
Okay.
it's one of her top songs, and
You don't feel it, huh?
I'm still not digging on it.
Okay. Next album is For My Broken Heart from 1991. This was my top album.
My top album.
My runner-up.
Perfect rating.
Surprise.
This is one of my favorite country albums of all time.
I gave it
It
two,
says-
2 5s.
This has Bobby on it, correct?
Yes, which
Okay.
is one of only, I think, 2 songs that she had a hand in writing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Bobby is on this album.
I gave it 3 5s.
My top track was If I Had Only Known.
My top track is another song that somebody else did, but it fits her better. She sings this one better. The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
My top track is There Life Out There?
That's a good one.
I didn't have a bottom track.
Okay.
It's a perfect album.
So was
He's
my
in
last
Dallas
one.
is mine.
Yeah.
Bottom track.
By Her Roses.
It's another one of those, that Third Eye Blind debut album where I couldn't,
I know.
like, it's all
I
at
know.
some point been something that I've been obsessed with.
Still a good album.
It's a fact while we're on this album.
Very good.
The track, If I Had Only Known, actually this CD was recorded right after a plane crash that killed almost the entirety of her traveling band.
Mm-hmm.
So real emotional time for her. And I think it comes through.
Mm-hmm.
This is a heartbreaking CD.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Next up is Read My Mind from 1994. This one I was kind of familiar with because I remember my mother wearing this one out.
This is the one of her with the jean shirt, like going like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was from 1994. I already said that. This was my middle pick.
It's my middle as well.
It's my bottom.
Perfect rating.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
1
All right.
5.
Top track was...
Oh, wait.
You didn't say. You just sat there looking at me like
You
you
didn't
were
say
having a
how many.
stroke.
Oh, you gave it perfect rating.
is
Okay.
10. Last 3 albums, all 10.
0 5s.
0 5s on this album. You didn't like anything on this album.
No, I didn't say that.
You didn't love anything on this album.
I didn't think that anything on this album was fantastic.
Okay. My top track was a tie between And Still and the song Till You Love Me.
Okay.
The Heart's a Lonely Hunter.
One Last Good Hand was my top.
My bottom was Why Haven't I Heard From You?
She thinks his name is John.
That's another one. I'm sure it's because he heard way too much of it at the time, huh?
Yes.
It's Your Call. I actually really liked, what was your bottom?
Why haven't I heard from you?
Yeah, because she talks about when the telephone was invented and how telephones are in. Yeah, I just thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah. And I gave it a 5.
You know, what's ironic about Reba is Reba was being played a lot around me when I was hanging out with your side of the family.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. So, just FYI. That's how old Reba is.
I'll give you my Reba roots momentarily. So let's go ahead and move on to the questionnaire. Eric, what was your weirdest track?
My weirdest track was that she thinks his name is John.
Okay.
She don't know his name.
Well,
maybe you're kindred spirits with her.
You showed up today telling stories like this.
And you don't remember anybody's name.
Well, that's true.
It's a song about a lady who contracts AIDS.
I don't make a song about it, yeah.
Maybe you should.
I remember this girl. She's washing her blood off in a pond. I can't remember her name.
That's a number one hit right there.
Well, what I would have used instead was his name is John.
Yeah. Gotcha.
My weirdest track was One Thin Dime. It sounds like the song from Toy Story 2, Woody's Roundup.
Okay.
What did you say?
Respect. That was a weird one for me.
Yeah. It was an unnecessary cover, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She could have did better maybe taking on something else other than that.
I was genuinely surprised that was the extent of the bad cover material that I came across.
See, nobody ran with that song. The Night the Lights Went Out actually got some radio play, and it's probably why it did better, as a cover song than Respect did. Because
speaking of cover
everybody
songs,
knew that.
Yeah. Most people don't know that Fancy's a cover song as well by Bobby Gentry. Sounds just like Reba's version.
Yep.
Just like it.
Bobby Dog.
The original's good too. It's a good song.
It was very common in the 80s as well. Even when I know George Strait and Keith Whitley did it a handful of times where they both released the same song within the same year or so.
All right.
What about best titles for everyone?
I said Greatest Man I Never Knew.
Fancy.
Don't touch me there.
I thought about doing that one. She's talking about her heart.
I know. Yeah. I know. And that's why when I listen to it.
Yeah, but it makes your mind wander.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's he got his hands?
I was surprised to find that was a really good song. Not what I thought I was getting. What about worst title?
Respect.
I didn't have one.
What would you have called it?
Disrespect. What about you?
One Thin Dime. I would have called it Right or Wrong Knockoff. That song Right or Wrong by George Strait sounds a lot like that when it comes to the melody. Really? Just not as good.
Notice she writes about telephones a lot.
Well, she doesn't write.
Well, I know that, but she sings a lot of songs about telephones.
And I'm wondering, because if you listen, and I listen to most of her music too, I didn't just half-ass it. Well, she's either been cheated, or wanting to cheat, or just all around had it rough when she was younger.
She's adorable.
On the bright side, at least she wasn't, burying dogs and shucking corn and trying to get her old truck started. And
no comment from me on that whatsoever.
Oh, man.
That's for your mom. I'm just going to start saying no comment when it comes to country tropes.
Strongest element.
Her vocals and storytelling ability. There's not a lot of times where I enjoy and actually sit through an artist's storytelling ability. Reba, I did.
Yep. She has a unique, her twang is unique.
Yes.
It's I thought I heard in one of her songs, Appalachian.
Mm-hmm.
She come from the Appalachian Mountains.
You definitely get that.
So
that vibe.
Yeah, that's it.
Mine was an emotionally relatable voice. She is country. She's extremely country, and that's never absent from what she's doing. But I think anyone who's been through any sort of emotion, which I don't know who that leaves on the planet that hasn't, but yeah, you'll relate. You talked about...
She lies.
That was a joke. God, take a joke. Jesus.
Weakest element.
Some slower songs have the same structure and sound. I know you feel attacked. I'm sorry.
She does have one sound to me. Not that that's a bad thing.
Right.
Because she's had a solid career with that one sound. You're not going to change that.
I don't know anybody that knows Reba and doesn't like Reba.
Okay.
Nobody's come out and been like, I
Her
hate
exes,
Reba. Maybe. At least they'll remember her name.
That's true.
Weakest for me was her honky tonk tracks. Sometimes when you can tell it was meant for the dance floor.
Woody's
and
Roundup.
You're just sitting there kicking it. Doesn't really land as well.
Okay.
Sounds like.
I picked artists. I said Leanne Rimes, The Judds, Martina McBride, and Leanne Womack.
The Judds is good.
See, and that's who I was going to say is Leanne Rimes. If I had to pick anybody, it would be a Leanne Rimes, somewhat.
Yep.
But, oh no, I don't want to say that because I like Leanne Rimes, but Reba's like the OG.
Yes, obviously. She's
well,
twice her
I know, but if you're comparing the two, like Leanne Rimes to me would be like a dollar store version of Reba.
That's a little rough.
I know, that's why I said I didn't want to say it.
I'll say that Reba has probably, hell, I don't even know, 25 times more music than Leanne Rimes has out.
Yeah.
So,
and I said, before I said that statement, I enjoy Leanne Rimes. I do like Leanne Rimes. I just, in their similarities, Reba usually ranks higher for me.
To me, she sounds like the female Keith Whitley. Now, as far as hits go, it would be George Strait.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that further down the line here. When to listen, or how does the music make you feel?
When to listen on a rainy Friday afternoon. It was exactly what I needed to be listening to this past Friday. And it put me in a type of mood.
Mood to drink. That's when I'd like to. That's when I'd like to listen to it. Drinking.
I said when you need to feel the feels. And it makes me feel broken, but capable of healing. There's something that's, even though there's a lot of sadness in her music, there is strength in her music.
From such a tiny lady.
Yeah.
She's a tiny, tiny lady.
Which means nothing to me because I'm not sexist like my co-host.
You know what? Coming from a tiny lady, I'm allowed to say that. It's my word.
You're short. You're not tiny.
She's a damn midget.
Oh, shit. I'm going to kill you. You're dead to me.
She's a midget. That's
it's
what
about
she
time.
is.
Said
I'm glad Eric
short.
was here.
I'm short, but not a tiny lady.
You're a midget. A little.
You calling me fat?
No.
Mm.
I didn't say anything about...
I'm just giving you shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What the hell?
When was your first or best experience with this artist?
So, surprise, I'm sure, for Eric, based on what he said earlier. Your younger sister, Misty, my aunt.
Oh, hell.
I think this was when we were on Bobolink. She used to play Kathy's Clown, which is an Everly Brothers cover.
Yep.
She used to play it on repeat. Like, she had the whole damn tape, but this is the one she would listen to. It's also one of my first music memories. I was probably 4, maybe 5 at the time.
Yeah, and she was still too young to be getting in trouble she was getting into. You hear me out there? But yeah, I remember the time, Bobolink.
That's the kids that lived right down the street. They were killed under that bridge, right? Is it 428?
I believe so.
Yeah. And she knew 1 or 2 of those people, or hung out with one of the brothers, and then just kept doing what she did.
What?
You learn something new every day, don't you?
Yeah, I think someone had escaped from prison and just randomly murdered a couple under a bridge.
Yep, right down
Wow.
there.
Outside of town. It's actually
down by the
2
creek.
miles from my house. So.
Yeah, you go down the creek.
Field trip.
Yeah.
All right.
Field trip.
My first experience with Reba is she was AJ Ferguson in the Little Rascals movie.
I remember, yep.
Now, the chorus is marked off with errors, and it ends right back here where it started from. But my best experience with Reba is Grandma's House at the Old Trailer. Reba was usually, if I heard Reba anywhere, it was usually being played there.
My first experience. See, and here we go. Let me take you in the Wayback Machine again.
Wayback Machine.
We used to have antenna hunts back in the day, and this is where your side of the family comes in.
Antenna.
Yes, ma'am. You see, you don't have a clue.
You just put those.
You just be quiet over there.
I thought you
and
mispronounced antenna for a minute.
Put those two words together, and it just screams Wyndham's. Antenna
hunts. As a matter of fact, and to make a long story short, it was your side of the family that got me into these things. We actually had one guy fly off a 90-foot cliff in a Jeep and kill himself one night on these antenna hunts. That's how crazy it would get.
What the fuck is an antenna hunt? Get to it.
Killing her.
Antenna hunts, what you would do is you would have one person, everybody had CBs back in their vehicles back in the day.
Oh, we're bumming cigarettes off of each other. How the hell did all y'all afford CB radios?
No, we didn't. We stole our cigarettes from Easy Check.
Okay.
So,
10-4, come on back.
Anyway, you could use the squelch on your CB to tell you how close you were to the one person that was hiding. Every 5 minutes or so, they would key up and you went around out in the country looking for one said vehicle that would hide. It's like hide and seek.
We did that. We didn't call it. I was antenna hunting living in Milford.
Okay, well, that's...
Okay.
I don't know where you got a CD.
We did it without
CB
radios.
play. Okay. Well,
my daddy couldn't afford a CB radio for me to play.
Reba, we were listening to Reba back then when all this was going down. So
cool.
Spent a lot of time in cars just sitting in places. It's like, and of course, all the like I said, all.
Were you just sitting?
Sometimes
you weren't doing anything else?
Sometimes we were doing other things.
Okay.
The sheer amount of cautionary tales I remember getting in my youth had me terrified to even ride in a car with people. I remember don't get in a car, don't even be sitting in the back seat or in the back of a truck. If somebody just might have marijuana on them or something, you could still go to jail. You'd be guilty by association.
Oh, those
y'all want to ride up the road? No, I'm good. I'm stay home.
Those are the cars you'd find me in. What are you talking about?
I know. That's why I believed you.
I was going to say, who do you think he heard the cautionary tales from?
Just say no.
You and Uncle Donnie, apparently, right?
Oh, man.
He hung out. What? Me?
Your Uncle Donnie.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you were talking to your dad. I'm over here thinking he.
No,
not.
No.
She threw me under the bus, too.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I did, but I said you, Uncle Donnie, because you said in a past episode that he was the one that was telling you, don't be doing stupid shit.
Your dad's talking about history. I didn't know if you were about to try to share some story that involved me and Donnie, and I don't.
No, that's for you, man.
I got lots of stories for you.
Yeah, I imagine.
Who would you want Reba to collaborate with, and what song would you like them to cover?
George Strait. I don't know if that's been done, but I sure would like to hear if it has. The cover I would like her to do specifically is a Gary Stewart song called An Empty Glass. I just think it's one of those country songs she could put a spin on that would make it more listenable.
Well, I'm not going to stick to country.
Oh my God.
But I am going to mention one here that she could put a spin on too.
I just saw your answer.
Check this out. How would you like to hear her do Lady Gaga's Applause?
No comment.
With that twang, I would love to hear what that sounds like and her version of it. So I'm just saying.
You love that song anyway.
I do. I do love it.
I do. I said Dolly Parton. And this was before I knew that Sunday Kind of Love was done by Etta James. I swear. I picked I Would Rather Go Blind by Etta James as their cover song.
You know what makes you go blind, right?
I've heard.
Methane and hooch.
Is that why you need glasses now?
Makes you go blind.
That ain't all. That's why I got glasses. What do you mean?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, speaking of, I forgot to check the masturbation hand, so I still don't know if it's
I told you,
red.
You're left-handed. It's not going to matter. Red right hand. You're left-handed. That doesn't even apply to you.
You know, I was thinking this week, too, when someone says they caught you red-handed, is that got caught masturbating?
Jerking your gherkin, man. Yeah, that's exactly. Yep. Look, we're learning things. What makes Reba seem unique?
She's had 40 years of success in a very male-centric industry and just keeps succeeding.
Pioneer.
Yes.
I said her vocals they're very recognizable.
Yes, her sound is unique, one of a kind. It's just, you can't mistake her whenever you hear her.
How could Reba be more successful in the future?
Success should no longer be the goal.
I said keep making music or don't. You're still very successful
Is there a future? I thought she was pretty much...
She can always
I
change
don't
her
know.
mind.
I think I saw a single from 2020 when I was on Spotify.
Well, I thought she was dabbling in the picture industry, the sitcom. She was
Dad,
doing
that is way over.
Okay.
Reba is way over.
But I don't think she's
I don't think her music career is done.
Doing any music.
Well, they just redid her
she's-
Rumor Has It album, like 20th anniversary, and she just performed on the CMAs. She performed Fancy on the CMAs recently, is what I saw, right?
You didn't see that this year.
You know what I'm over here thinking about is
What?
last night I was playing around on Spotify
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that The Weeknd released a remix of I don't even remember what track it is, something from the new album.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one remix and it's featuring Kenny G.
Really?
Yeah, and the song starts out and it's Kenny G playing at the beginning, and then it's pretty much just the normal song. And I thought, did they really bring Kenny G
Is it
into
Hardest to Love? Because that makes sense.
No, I thought it was one of the bigger hits like Blinding Lights or what's the other one? Heartless.
No, that's the song you like, In Your Eyes.
Okay, In Your Eyes would probably be the one if I'm
Okay.
thinking about it. But I thought, did you really just bring him on to barely feature him in the beginning and then you get to the end and Kenny G starts going wild? Yeah.
You know, Kenny G recorded that at home. He didn't even like get with him. He's just like, I need a piece from you.
Probably. It made me go to that Jesus is King album by Kanye West for the first time because I wanted to hear that Kenny G solo again.
Was it good?
Oh, yeah. Love me some Kenny G. Where are we at?
It's another relaxing artist.
Who would you recommend this artist to and why?
Country newcomers, because this is the queen of country.
Mm.
So,
Yes, this is country when country was uncool.
mm.
Howdy, how you like that?
Howdy, how do you like that?
Howdy.
Country. Anyway.
I said anyone wanting to find peace in a strong Southern female voice. Howdy, how do you like that?
I dig it.
Are there any optional discussion topics?
The only one for me
Mhm.
was the music video for I Know How He Feels. It's just a shot of her on stage sitting on a chair, a stool, and singing. And it's shot in a way that feels very intimate, makes her look vulnerable. Again, like we talked about with the Alicia Keys video or Sinead O'Connor when she did the Prince cover. That type of thing.
And
yeah.
that's the song that she's singing about another girl who's fixing to go through what she went through with the same said guy, correct?
It's a song about she's upset because she lost the guy.
And he's wanting to get with another girl, and he's kind of feeling how she... Yeah, that's right.
Like how he literally like feels to the touch, I think is what they're going for.
Okay.
The only thing that I wanted to say that I found remotely interesting, well, not to say that there's not anything interesting about Reba. Did you know that Reba was the original choice for the character Molly Brown in Titanic?
I did not.
And she didn't take it because she was on tour. And Molly Brown, the role of Molly Brown, ended up going to Kathy Bates.
Well, look at you, Captain Google.
I was sitting over here thinking, did you know I don't know who Molly Brown is from Titanic?
I was going to tell you.
Kathy Bates.
Yeah, Kathy
Did
Bates
she
is
jump or not?
Kathy Bates. No. Kathy Bates' character, who's based on a real person.
Dude, one of my favorite memes that I've seen recently, it's Kate trying to wake Leo up, like, wake up,
Yeah.
Jack, wake up.
Yeah.
I have some cocaine. And then the bottom one is that shot of him and it's like, bet.
Yeah, that one's blowing up. That little, like, what'd you say? Sort of thing. By the way, I remembered, for those of you that give a damn about last episode, I was trying to remember the name of the Johnny Depp album about the director. It's Ed Wood.
Ed Wood for you people in the top cheap seats.
I said Mordecai because I have never seen that film, so I didn't know what it was about.
It's all right. I think I even said, no, it's not Mordecai. It's Ed Wood. I just couldn't remember.
So before we move on to our questionnaire, no, not our questionnaire, before we move on to the second half of our music list, who won for everybody?
Ingrid
Go.
Michaelson won for me.
Ingrid won for you?
But it was close.
Reba barely pulled it out for me.
All right.
We obviously know who won for you.
Yeah, Reba did take it from me. Ingrid had 10 more songs than Reba, so she had that slight advantage out of the gate. And purchase value for me, Ingrid got $46, whereas Reba only got $47. So they were close, but then when I looked at fives, Ingrid had 35, Reba had 45. And average, Ingrid was 4.49. Reba with what I think is going to end up being my highest average so far, 4.86.
Holy hell. Yeah, neither one of them broke the 4.0 for me. And Ingrid got a 3.5, whereas Reba... Oh, no, sorry. Ingrid got a 3.9, whereas Reba got a 3.5. So they were still... I mean, they weren't that far apart.
Right.
Ingrid did get double the amount of 5s from me. She got 20. Reba only got 10.
Okay.
Not to say that I didn't enjoy both of the artists this week.
You don't have to cushion everything.
I'm
it's
not.
Fine.
I'm not. Let me be let me say what I want to say. I'm just saying I gave a lot of 4s and
She's
3s.
feisty this morning.
I am.
Yeah, she is. I think that's partly my fault because when I came in, I was on fire. I lit her
I got
up.
yelled at by him as soon as he walked through the door.
Yeah.
I'm about to piss myself.
Looking through the peephole. I'm going to pee in your peephole.
Dad.
Open the door.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm about to pee in your peephole.
Open the door. Let me in. And then I hear, not by the hair of my chinny chin.
I did not say that. Reba got, for you, wasn't it close for you?
Yes, it was 0.2. Yeah, it's 3 point. I don't know. I like it in the low 3s for some reason. I'm not really a points giver. Reba won by 2 points.
Okay. I'm going to lead off in the second half of the list here.
All right.
Songs that take you to a precise moment in time.
All right.
That way we can get some extra storytelling there at the end. My first pick for the second half was Anthem for the Year 2000 by Silverchair. I was 15 and drunk at the Yellow House in Justin, listening to this song when the Y2K clock struck.
Damn.
My asshole father cut the power in the house.
That's funny.
Yeah. It freaked the fuck out of those of us who were just rocking out in the living room singing this song. Good joke, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey and I went outside to find Joel in a screaming match with the neighbors. They were just shouting Happy fucking New Year back and forth at each other. But Corey and I, we tried walking to a family friend's house that night. There's a curfew in Justin, so we weren't supposed to be out. We got picked up by the cops. Luckily, they just drove us home. 'Twas the start of an amazing decade.
That's a lot going on. I remember laying on the floor watching the ball drop.
I wish I would have thought of that.
Laying on the
power?
floor, watching the ball drop in the living room. And I remember thinking as I closed my eyes after, I think I went to sleep before the ball dropped because I'm like, if the world's going to end, I want to be asleep for it. And I remember like, I'm going to sleep before clock strikes midnight.
I just don't want to wake up. I want to go to sleep and not wake up.
It's pretty smart. Why would I want to be awake for that shit? I didn't believe it, but I'm like, in the off chance that it's true, I just want to sleep.
You don't know how many stories in the 53 years that I've heard that this old world's coming to an end.
I know. What's your next pick, Dad?
This song here was played at a funeral, of all places. Norman Greenbaum, Spirit in the Sky. And I thought it was the first funeral that I went to where everybody was upbeat and, it wasn't. That's not the way he wanted it to be. And they played this song, and they played it louder than shit. And it was like, okay, are we supposed to dance or, well, what are we doing?
Are we supposed to
here?
celebrate the death of this person?
Yeah, so, Spirit in the Sky, Norman Greenbaum.
Are you going to elaborate whose funeral it was? No?
No, it was nobody in the family.
Okay. It
was a close friend.
Okay.
I always liked that notion, by the way. A celebration of life when it's ended. It's just never appropriate because there are people usually who are genuinely hurting around, and you don't want them feeling like you don't take their pain seriously.
If you die before me, I'm going to play Welcome to the Fuck Shop at your funeral.
Well, I will tell you guys right now, you can play that all you want, but I am one of those people that, when I lose a dog, it hits me hard.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
My next pick.
But I'll croak first.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. My next pick is The Time, or Dirty Bit, by the Black Eyed Peas. Both of the people here attended my high school graduation, and this was the song that was playing as we descended off the stage, going forth to our new grown-up life and grown-up responsibilities. Everybody's leaving, waving, yay, holding up their diplomas. What does Rayburn decide to do?
Take her clothes off.
Strip! And this is the song that was playing.
As if I wasn't already ready for a beer.
I did not get naked. All I did was unzip my robe seductively.
Yes, but the audience went nuts.
Yes, there is video documentation somewhere out in the interwebs.
We have it at home.
I got told after when I went back and visited high school, because people do that, I guess. One of my teachers who I admired very much told me that if it would have been up to him, he would have kept my diploma. But, joke's on you, bitches. You gave it to me at graduation. So.
And look at her now.
Look at me now. So, The Time by the Black Eyed Peas.
Can't imagine keeping someone's diploma because they unzipped their gown.
They didn't show anything.
They tried, it's small town living.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Could have been a fun lawsuit.
Yeah. My mom was very proud. You can hear it in the video. What's your next pick?
I don't know that you're ready for this, but Bad Boys by Inner Circle. That's the theme from Cops. Mm-hmm. So Corey and I are among the oldest children in our family's generation. So we were often picking people up from school, things like that. Mm-hmm. During one of those trips, we were asked by the person we picked up to drive back around the school. They wanted to cruise by again. All their friends see them in a car,
An A car, not their car.
Right. But this drew the attention of the on-campus cop because it was a vehicle that was circling the school. Mm-hmm. So that cop swiftly pulled Corey over and eventually asked him to step out of the car. The dude was a massive dick for no real reason at all, and it upset me. So I turned this song on the stereo and I cranked the hell out of it. Pissed that cop smooth off, but all he could do was search Corey's car. I think he wound up taking some of his pocket knives. Easy for me to say this because I'm not the person who lost personal property that day, but totally worth it.
Dad?
Ray? Oh, my next song.
Oh. Yeah, we're doing this.
Fantasy by Aldo Nova. Kiss, are you listening? This was our first date.
I don't know if you want her listening right now.
And it's funny you should mention this about the first date. I was on a date with somebody else, okay? And back in the day, we used to cruise the Strip on Friday and Saturday nights. Any of you guys remember cruising the Strip? Anyway.
They're all dead.
I was, or in the pen. I was I had this other chick with me, and I rolled up beside your mama and one of her friends in another car. Hey, hey, what's up? You want to meet me later? So anyway.
It amazes me that she chooses to marry you.
Long story short, I took my date home and I went looking for your mama. And I found your mama. And she jumped in my car, kind of like some American Graffiti shit, Mm-hmm. Get out of one car, get into another, and off we go. We wound up sitting at a Clayton House Motel parking lot, facing the west, up under the big sign, copping a feel, and I ran Aldo Nova's cassette, I believe it was cassette, in the ground that night, in the parking lot. So, yeah, that's Aldo Nova, Fantasy.
God, Dad, you're so romantic. Copping a feel.
Yeah.
See, now the funny thing is that I've been able to talk to some of the other people from around his age group that ran around at the time. And he's far from the worst offender on any of what was going on.
I don't doubt it gets worse.
I think there's a modicum of...
I was probably a participant in some of those. Like I said, there was a clique that we all hung around together, and we did a lot of stuff together.
Oh, I've heard...
But a definite modicum of decency that you weren't getting from some of the other people in that clique, I think.
I've heard plenty of stories between your dad and mine because they ran around with each other at one point.
Yes.
Most of the time it got violent, but they ran around with each other at one point.
That's all part of it. It was all...
Let me go kick my friend's ass and...
I wouldn't change...
Steal his car.
It's sitting under the bridge on 380 and it's... Yeah. Well, let's reminisce here. We got all day, don't we?
No, we do not.
What's your next song?
I come from the water by the Toadies. This was my first quad trip. This was also the first time I got drunk and participated in other extracurricular activities.
Is that the first time you saw another man's pecker?
No. But thank you for asking.
I think it was.
I buried Toby, who is my brother-in-law, a friend of mine, his brand new flashlight in the sand because I was plastered drunk, and that's what you do when you're drunk. And forever since then, when you turn it on, because it's a twisty turn on, it sounds like a pepper grinder because there's still sand.
It still works.
I mean, if he still has it, I'm not sure,
That's
but
funny.
for years afterwards it did. So yeah, this was the first time that I ever felt any sort of, I guess, party freedom. And there are other stories that I can tell from that trip, but I'm not going to get into it. But it was the first time
Your father's right beside you.
No, I don't give a
Don't
fuck if you're
spill
beside
the
me.
beans.
I just
I know
don't want
you
to
don't.
put anybody else on blast.
You were my measure, by the way, for how embarrassed I should be in certain situations.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. When I came of age and was finally sexually active and whatnot, there were some things that I can recall. I remember being in the shower, having an experience in the shower and getting out and putting on a white top and going out to talk to Grandma, only to realize that my back was bleeding.
Okay.
So there was blood all over the back of my shirt from hooking up in the shower. She never said anything. Something that was retold to me, I don't actually remember this, was had a good session in bed and passed out.
Good session.
Yeah. And it wore me out and knocked me out. And there was probably drinking involved too, but
Not even a cigarette before you fell asleep.
No.
Man.
Ain't none of that happening.
no putting clothes back on, none of that, just out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess somebody got cold and just left me butt naked laying in the bed. And I think Mom rolled through to shower to go to work that morning. And I remember hearing about it later in the day. And I still didn't feel embarrassed because it was always in my head during situations like that. At least my parent didn't walk in on me giving head.
Bang! Oh, yeah, somebody's
Okay.
beat red over there.
All right.
Whose turn is it?
It's not mine. It's not my turn.
I believe it's yours, Shane.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't like locked doors in my house. And
No, I didn't have a doorknob thanks to you.
And well, then why would you do something like that
God.
if you didn't have a damn doorknob on your door?
I don't know. Why do you do half the shit that
What'd
you did?
What'd you get hungry? Well, I'm just
There
asking.
were covers. I was covered.
Okay.
Oh
well,
my God. Is nothing sacred anymore?
Not anymore. It's all on the table.
All right.
Yeah, and this is what we're here for?
Yeah. This
Are
is
you
what we're here
embarrassed
for.
about your past, Reba?
You get flustered.
No.
Are you one of those and you're hiding it from me?
No. No, obviously I'm not because you know.
My next pick is the acoustic version of So Cold by Breaking Benjamin. The night the bowling alley that I worked at shut down for good, that was a rough one for me. I had a lot of memories wrapped up in that place, whether it's the majority of my friends or people that I met at the bowling alley. I know there was a Thanksgiving that I had to work because we were open for tournaments or something, and your dad had everyone come up there and bowl. And so I actually got to see the family on Thanksgiving, and like there are different things that meant a lot to me. But when it closed,
I appreciate that.
my friend Daniel
Get in the car.
was waiting on me after I locked the place up for that last time. There were some other people there too, but Dee and I, we stood there by the steps out front singing this song at the top of our lungs until it felt right to leave, and that always sticks out to me.
Dad?
This is the whole album. And actually, it's a whole album for one reason. It was because the story I'm fixing to tell you. It's Iron Maiden. Number of the Beast album. And the reason being is because back in the day,
You're Satan?
no, I wouldn't say, well, people thought I was, yes.
I'm just asking.
My mother's one of those, but no, we found ourselves, God, I hope I don't incriminate anybody.
Are you fucking kidding me?
In,
Are you kidding me with this shit?
In Little Elm at a friend of your mama's, at her house. Her mother was at work. We were skipping school. Lady had a hot tub in her bathroom, but it was empty. And for whatever reason, we couldn't get any hot water into the hot tub.
I know this
I know the story.
So she's got
So stupid.
Number of the Beast is playing over and over again while we're boiling water on the freaking
It's so
stove.
stupid.
Trying to get hot water, get this hot tub filled up with hot water just so I can get a blowjob underwater. I mean, that was the whole point of filling up the hot tub. And it never happened. I mean, by the time we got a pan hot, the other one that we poured in was cold.
It's stupid. It's like, a stupid idea.
But, thank goodness for Iron Maiden, Yeah,
right now.
See, I'm telling the truth. Yeah, I got you both over here cracking up. But yeah, it's
Jesus.
Yeah, Iron Maiden. Bruce Dickinson. Love you, man.
My next pick.
I have a feeling I'm really going to like that album when we finally get to it.
My next pick is Susudio by Phil Collins.
Oh, Lord.
This was my second cabin trip.
By the way, do either of y'all have an extra room for rent?
Yeah, I do.
Scared to go home?
I do. Come stay with me, Dad.
I'll be all right till
We have
Tuesday.
locked doors here. Don't worry, you're in great hands. This was my second cabin trip. My loving cousin decided to only play Phil Collins basically for that entire trip.
It's a 3-hour trip. There's no way I played nothing but Phil Collins.
Oh, no. It wasn't just in the car. No, we played the music guessing game on the way up there because at this point, Blue and I were still riding with you and Megan to the cabin. But once we got there...
Like little babies.
Couldn't find her way.
It was, first of all, don't be a dick. We had a lot of fun playing the music guessing game.
Yeah.
But once we got there, you had made a Nothing But Phil Collins and Genesis CD.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you played pretty much the entire time we were there. With the exception of one Nicki Minaj song. And it was the one Toby really likes. Damn it. That's the night that we were throwing shoes and pillows from the loft down to the living room.
Yeah, if you ever wonder why I get upset when you show up with camcorders and stuff at some of these things.
I don't show up. When have I ever done that?
She had a camcorder at the last damn cabin trip. She was walking around filming things.
I was documenting the old people.
There's so many times
Why? Because we're going to croak or something?
Yeah.
Family events like Thanksgiving or Christmas, show up with your camcorder. That's cool. When I'm blackout drunk and you're filming people throwing shit at me from second-story balconies and stuff.
Memories.
Why don't y'all ever do that shit when I'm there, man? I'm usually passed out, huh?
I've calmed down. I hit a limit now when Rayburn's around just because I'm scared that camcorder's going to come out of the back pocket.
Yeah. I video document a lot. I was just doing it because Grandma was with us.
Yes.
You, Angie, Michael was there. And I was like, this is the first time in a very, very long time that we've all been together. Yeah. And I wanted to take video documentation. I wasn't recording anybody while they were drinking. Although we were drinking when we were playing. Damn it. I can't remember.
I don't know.
That's what she said.
That's a game?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. What's the one where you get the different scenario? Your mom was dying. We were sitting around the table.
You're talking about What Do You Meme?
What Do You Meme? Yeah, we were playing What Do You Meme. I think at that point we had already had a couple drinks. And that was the only thing that I recorded where we had a couple drinks. And it was funny as shit.
I broke off into the homemade wine last night just to try it.
Is it ready?
It's still green. It's supposed to sit for another week or two, but
it got a little sour to it.
You should see his laboratory in his dining room. He's got.
Really?
It's in the tub now because we needed the kitchen table. But
I was working in the lab.
Yeah,
I think what I was told last night was it tastes like Lambrusco.
Okay, is that a good or a bad thing?
Gonna be a good run. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to taste like.
Sweet.
What's your next pick, Shane?
Next up for me is "Dirty Diana" by Michael Jackson. This song makes me think of a party I attended at Code's old home in downtown Denton. Austin was there too. People who listen to the Semi-Friendly podcast might not know it, but those two are like that all the time. It's not an act. That's just who they are. And alcohol only intensifies the argumentative hilarity. Anyway, the place was pretty near both college campuses in town, which means you never know who's going to come wandering into a party uninvited. This night, they got on a Michael Jackson kick and had this blaring from a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I recall it. I think it was a car in the front. They just had it. Anyway, in the end, some weirdo on a bicycle came riding into the backyard where everyone was kicking it. And within moments, they were calling this guy 10 speed and just ripping on him hard. It took loading this dude down with beers to get him to go away.
Didn't they talk about him in their last episode?
Yeah, which I had to text codes about because I had just been writing about it for the show. But that whole moment in time is what I think of whenever I hear Dirty Diana now. 10 speed with a beer in every pocket of his coat, wheeling away on that fucking bicycle.
Speaking of them, out of curiosity, are you an over the fence or through the gate sort of man?
I'm an over the fence. And we had to have a lot of that argument this week too, but I'm not going to go into it in case they want to touch more upon it.
Okay.
I saw that Austin shared a Reddit feed that was
against
arguing
It's getting very
Cody's point.
heated about that subject. Dad, when you piss, do you pee over the top of your jeans or do you open your fly and put your dick through your fly? Are you an over the fence or through the gate sort of man?
Well, let me tell you something. Okay, I'm 53 years old. Gravity done took its toll on me.
So you sit when you pee?
No, I don't sit. I'm not that lazy yet.
Okay.
No, I unzip my shit and let my stuff hang and piss that way. I don't.
So you're through the gate? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Okay. Unless I'm wearing sweats or something.
Not to knock men that sit.
I don't.
Sit if you want to sit.
That depends on how you feel,
If you're taking a shit and you need to piss?
Yeah, if you feel like something's knocking down there, you might want to cop squat. Okay.
Well, there you go, guys, contributing to your argument. I did my my work. I'm a through the fence sort of gal. So.
I don't agree with Austin on everything, and that's part of the problem is it's usually a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
So when they start talking about bush versus bald and stuff,
Demi Moore.
I'm definitely in Code's camp there.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move along, Eric.
Tarzan boy. Just
That's
saying.
funny that he would bring that up. Tell us, of all people.
My next one is going to be Sammy Hagar. Obviously, all of these are old, but Sammy Hagar, Standing Hampton, the whole album. This is why. Your dad, God love him, he worked at the Easy Check, okay? Had another buddy with a Trans Am. Parents were loaded. They lived in lived in Northridge. They went to Europe every summer. So he's at home alone. Party's on. Had a swimming pool, bagged some babes there. We'd go over there, Billy be working, and we'd fill up on goodies, cigarettes and sunglasses and snacks and candies and stuff. And we'd go live over at this guy's place. And, if we had some girls, we'd take them over there and rang the hell out of them. Well, this guy his parents had a sound system from hell at the time.
Right.
And Standing Hampton, I would turn that damn thing up as loud as it could possibly go. I'm surprised the laws never got called on us.
Is this the same friend that you stole his car and left it in a field?
No.
Okay.
I stole his car, but I didn't leave it in a field. No, I locked the engine up on the other side of town and had to call his ass to come get me. That's
in his stolen car.
Yeah.
In a hot rod at that. In a 1977 Trans Am. Mm-hmm. So for those of y'all that do know the story, you know who I'm talking about now.
Pretty sure we have video documentation.
Yes.
At the last cabin trip that I took, you telling this story.
Standing Hampton. But Sammy Hagar, Montrose, Solo, Van Halen. I like Sammy.
Gotcha.
He likes to drink too. He likes to party. So
my next pick is The Freshman by the Verve Pipe. This reminds me of many late nights spent with friends in my very small friend group. I don't know if I'm supposed to say their name. But they are getting ready to be parents. So needless to say, those late nights spent listening to music like this will become few and far between. That doesn't mean that the quality of friendship and love and appreciation that I have for them is any less. So I just wanted to let them know that this song reminds me of them and I can't wait to meet your new little bundle of joy.
This is one of those songs that pisses me off too.
Okay.
Not for the reason we've already talked about. I really like the song.
Okay. Why?
The problem is when you go to look for the version that most people probably know, the one that was on the radio at the time, you don't get it. You get, I think, the original recording, which is not the same. You get the same sort of experience with the Jules Foolish Games, and there are a handful of tracks that are different on the radio that you can't find on Spotify.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a schoolroom and y'all are writing love notes to each
No,
other.
we're not.
Going?
No, we're not.
No, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, quit trying to sing,
I want to sing
dude.
so bad, and I got to catch myself.
Gotcha.
Like, I'll give you a little snippet.
All right, my last pick is Play by David Banner.
Wow, okay.
For some reason, I always used to think people couldn't hear music coming out of earbud headphones. It's probably because I grew up using the over-the-ear ones, you know?
Big earmuffs.
But I didn't think you could hear it coming out of the earbud headphones at any volume. So I was listening to this song on repeat when I learned otherwise. I'd been at the old office processing enrollments and paying no one any mind.
Oh.
My phone eventually buzzed. When I checked it, I was somewhat embarrassed, mostly amused, to find a text from my boss's assistant saying, "Just thought you'd like to know that the new hires are all trying to figure out which of them you're trying to get wet." Suffice it to say, I listened to a lot more classical music from there on at a lower volume.
That's funny.
Nice.
That's a dirty ass song.
Oh, yeah, it is. Dad, your last pick?
My last pick. Well, Shane might be able to relate to this, and we may have touched on this before. Pink Floyd, One of These Days. One of these days was one of those nights for me.
One of these days is one of those nights.
When I first heard this song, I didn't know the name of it, and it was actually on the radio.
Okay, I see that. I didn't know that part.
Yes, it was. It got radio play. We were living on the back street at Vacation Village, a little single wide, and I had the front room with the partial half bath, and I would go to sleep. I'd leave that bathroom door open with the light on and just pass out. Well, I don't know what I had taken that night. There's no telling that, but anyway, I try, and I was probably drunk out of my mind. But I laid there trying to count the holes in that tile ceiling. You know, that shit's got all the holes in. I'm sitting there, and it looks like
office,
like space.
ceiling.
I mean, it's just like it doesn't end. You know, kind of like a Tool video, or some shit. Well, and I look over at the bathroom, and that door's breathing. You know, it's going in and out, breathing by itself, and this song is playing. And so, yeah, that's my first Pink Floyd recollection of Pink Floyd, and of course, obviously, I had to have more. And
got to the end, got good and freaked out.
Oh yeah. I had to turn it off. I'll be honest with you. I got so freaked out, I had to turn it off. But then, you know, later on, I got to looking for, okay, well, what's the name of that song? You know, let me hear it again. Daylight. You know, I'm sober. So, but yeah, one of these days.
Don't listen to that. Don't listen to One of These Days on one of these nights, you know?
Yes, yeah, and especially if you're under the influence of anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything at all.
So.
My last pick is Don't Mess Around with Jim by Jim Croce. Croce.
I say Croce.
Croce. You're outnumbered. It's Croce.
Okay. That's fine. This is one of my most cherished memories.
Same.
I'm not
supposed to say that,
Were
but
you there?
I almost brought this up, but maybe not.
Well,
go ahead.
Now I'm curious to see yours. Okay.
Go ahead.
This is right after Blue and I had bought our first home, the one that we are currently living in. He was changing the locks in a very empty house. I think literally all that we had was a couch in it, a mattress on the floor, and an unopened half-drink bottle of champagne on the counter. He was changing out the locks to our back door, and this was the first song that we heard in our brand new house, and it will forever take me back to that moment that we bought our first house.
I got a question. A half-drink, unopened bottle.
Did I say unopened?
Did you catch that shit?
I didn't.
Did I say unopened?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering what you do. How
We've
you got
recorded
that
the
thing
proof.
half empty? Yeah, you.
I said, yeah. Okay, whatever.
Who knows?
Who knows? Okay, it was not unopened. It was half drank.
For me, it was on the way to the cabin. This came on, and Boo and I weren't particularly close before a lot of that stuff, and it was the first time I remember he was getting it, man. He knew word for word, and I just hadn't had that experience with him, but it made me realize, oh, okay, this dude does like music. We're just not hitting on his cylinders. We need to figure out what those are.
He's a wild card for sure. I think between that and Depeche Mode, you guys bonded over that a little bit. I still at times don't understand it, but that's fine. It's not for me. Anyway, are we ready to draw for next week?
Maybe.
I
got a little note activity here. You ready?
Yeah. No. Yes.
So, no one guessed my mystery Halloween song. It was Virgin State of Mind by Kay's Choice. And because no one, not even my co-host, guessed the mystery song,
Poke.
I'm now reserving the right to handpick another artist to cover before this season is over. We've got even more guests lined up for the next few episodes, so I'll likely not reveal my pick until episode 16, the last matchup of the season. But next week's guest is my brother-in-law, Joseph, who's asked to cover the band Flaw. So we will be covering Flaw and Whoever Your Father Draws Out of This Jar.
Give me that jar, boy. I got some good. I'm gonna pick me a good one. This one's for you, Joseph.
Shake it up.
Here, listen.
There you go.
You hear that? Oh, that felt too good.
Also, on Saturday for Halloween, I will also have a listener jam jar that if you stop by and visit, feel free to contribute to, and we'll be taking your suggestions on site. So
That's right. It does say listener jam jar.
yes, it
right
does. It does.
There. It's not on all the way.
Okay.
All right. Drum roll.
Y'all ready for this?
I'm never ready for
Me
this.
neither.
The song that's going up against
The artist.
the artist. Yeah. Thank you. The
You're
artist
welcome.
is Harry and the Dicks.
You're lying. That is not in there. I know
It
that.
ain't in our jar.
No, I'm teasing. No, I'm teasing. But that is a real band, folks. Krista Hart will be the next one coming up.
Heart and Flaw. And who suggested it?
Yo, mama.
Kissy D.
Oh, she did.
Yes.
Okay. Well, looky there.
Krista.
So,
Kissy. Candy.
yeah.
Cootie.
Kippy Po.
Cootie. Kippy. Mo.
Mo. Forgot Mo.
Mo now.
We got a new one.
Mo Coochie.
Oh, God. Okay. So we're going to be covering Flaw and Heart next week.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. You're gonna.
Joseph, I hope you're cool with that, because that's what you're going to get. Anything else anyone wants to add before we move on?
No, I think I'm golden for the week.
All right.
This was fun.
Well, oh yeah, I had a lot of fun. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Come find us online and let us know what you want to hear next.
Blowjob.
Okay, I'm going to start over. Stop.
Just in case our fans forgot.
Okay, this is the last time he's going to be on for a while. I don't
Damn.
think I can take any more of him.
Y'all love me.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Come find us online and let us know what you want to hear next, because it's what you choose to share that ultimately makes your melody unforgettable. You can email us at rated_radio@yahoo.com. And with that, we're gone again till next time.
Just remember out there, fill your life with music. It'd be a lot better.
Yeah. What my uncle said.
Bye, guys.